You know exactly what you need to do. The list is in your head. If you did those things ruthlessly, without hesitation, your life would be unrecognizable in 6 months, wealthier, stronger, respected, finally at peace, but you don't do them. You stare at the ceiling, you scroll, you negotiate, I'll start in 5 minutes, but 5 minutes turns into an hour turns into another wasted day, then the guilt sets in, that cold weight telling you you are wasting your potential. You think you are lazy, you think you lack discipline, but that is a lie. You are not lazy, you are biologically trapped. Your brain is not designed for greatness, it is designed for survival. And survival loves comfort. Your own mind is sabotaging you, drugging you with cheap dopamine to keep you safe, soft, and stagnant. But what if you could hack the hardware? What if there was a way to bypass the negotiation entirely, to trick your brain into craving the pain and the grind as much as it craves your phone? Most people are slaves to a 3-pound lump of tissue that hasn't evolved in 10,000 years. Your brain is not your friend. It is a survival machine. To your primitive brain, hard work looks like a threat, like danger. So when you try to write that book, start that business, hit the gym, your brain slams the brakes. This is why trying harder rarely works. You are fighting millions of years of evolution with willpower. It is a losing battle. We live in an era of engineered comfort. Food is delivered. Entertainment is instant. Validation is one click away. We are drowning in unearned dopamine. You have become neurologically soft, but there is a flaw in the system. A backdoor. It is called the override method. And once you learn it, you will never have to rely on motivation again. This is how you stop being a consumer of life and start being a creator of it. This is how you make your brain crave the fire. If you are ready to stop negotiating with the terrorist inside your own head, keep watching. I'm Peter Jordan here. You know exactly what you need to do. The list is in your head right now. You know that if you just did those things consistently, ruthlessly, without hesitation, your life would be unrecognizable in 6 months. You would be wealthier, stronger, respected, and finally at peace, but you don't do them. Instead, you stare at the ceiling, you scroll, you negotiate with yourself, you say, I'll start in 5 minutes. But 5 minutes turns into an hour, and an hour turns into another wasted day, and then the guilt sets in, that heavy cold weight in your chest that tells you you are wasting your potential. You think you are lazy, you think you lack discipline, but that is a lie. You are not lazy, you are biologically trapped. Your brain is not designed for greatness, it is designed for survival, and survival loves comfort. Survival loves the path of least resistance. Your own mind is sabotaging you, drugging you with cheap dopamine to keep you safe, soft, and stagnant. But what if I told you that you could hack the hardware? What if there was a way to bypass the negotiation entirely? To trick your brain into craving the pain, the effort, and the grind just as much as it currently craves your phone. It is called the override method. And once you learn it, you will never have to rely on motivation again. Most people live their entire lives as slaves to a 3lb lump of tissue that hasn't evolved in 10,000 years. Understand this. Your brain is not your friend. It is a survival machine. Its primary directive is energy conservation. To your primitive brain, hard work looks like a threat. It looks like unnecessary caloric expenditure. It looks like danger. So when you try to do something difficult, write that book, start that business, hit the gym, your brain triggers a resistance response. It floods your system with cortisol. It creates a feeling of psychological friction. This isn't you being weak. This is your limbic system slamming the brakes. This is why trying harder rarely works. You are fighting millions of years of evolution with a fleeting emotion called willpower. It is a losing battle. The modern world has weaponized this against you. We live in an era of engineered comfort. Everything is designed to be frictionless. Food is delivered. Entertainment is instant. Validation is one click away. We are drowning in a sea of unearned dopamine. Your brain has been trained to expect reward without effort. You have become neurologically soft when you face a task that requires sustained focus and no immediate reward. Your brain panics. It screams for the pacifier. It screams for the phone. This is the state of the modern human, sedated, distracted, a consumer of life rather than a creator of it. But there is a flaw in the system, a backdoor. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. But that word is too sterile for what we are about to do. We are talking about psychological alchemy. We are talking about rewriting the code of your impulse control. The override method isn't about fighting the resistance. It is about reversing the polarity. It is about teaching your brain that the pain of effort is actually the signal for safety and that comfort is the threat. because the truth is comfort is the threat. Comfort is the slow death of the soul. If you're watching this, you feel it. You feel the itch of mediocrity crawling on your skin. You know that if you don't change, you will die full of regret. So how do we flip the switch? How do we make the brain crave the fire? We have to go dark. You cannot crave hard things if you are stuffed full of cheap pleasure. Imagine a man who eats cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you offer him a raw apple, he will be disgusted. It is not sweet enough. It is too crunchy. It is hard to eat compared to the cake. Your brain is that man, and the internet is the cake. Before you can use the override method, you must restore your baseline. You have to reset your sensitivity. This is the part nobody wants to hear, but it is the prerequisite for power. You need to embrace boredom. Boredom is not a defect. It is a biological signal that you should be doing something. In the past, boredom drove us to hunt, to build, to explore. Today, the moment a microsecond of boredom hits, you reach for the rectangle in your pocket. You anesthetize the signal. By doing this, you are castrating your ambition. To trick your brain, you must first starve it. You need to cut the supply of cheap dopamine. I am not talking about a digital detox for a weekend. I am talking about a lifestyle shift. Stop listening to music every time you walk. Stop watching videos while you eat. Stop scrolling before you sleep. Sit with the silence. When you remove the constant noise, the brain begins to panic. It craves stimulation. And if you refuse to give it the cheap stuff, if you refuse the phone, the porn, the junk food, eventually the brain will get desperate. It will become so hungry for stimulation that even hard work becomes appealing. This is the secret of the greats. They are not naturally more disciplined than you. They just don't have better options. They structure their lives so that the only path forward is the work. When you are starving, a raw apple tastes like heaven. When you are dopamine deprived, writing an essay feels like a thrill. You have to lower the water level so you can see the rocks. Ask yourself right now, what are you using to numb yourself? What is your pacifier? Is it video games? Is it news? Is it endless commentary on lives you aren't living? Identify it and kill it. This is not about punishment. It is about resource management. Your attention is a limited resource. Every time you spend it on something that gives you nothing back, you are stealing from your future self. Once you have lowered the noise, you will feel something strange. You will feel an agitation, a restless energy. Good, that is the fuel. Now we ignite it. Here is the mechanics of procrastination. You have a thought, I should go to the gym. Immediately a second voice answers, but I am tired, I'll go tomorrow. It is raining. That gap between the thought and the action is where dreams go to die. That is the negotiation phase. The longer you stay in that gap, the louder the excuses become. The brain is excellent at rationalizing laziness. It will give you 1,000 logical reasons why you should stay on the couch. And because you are intelligent, you will believe them. The override method requires you to destroy the gap. You must install a kill switch. The rule is simple. Once the thought of a necessary action enters your mind, you have exactly 3 seconds to physically move your body toward that task. Not 3 minutes, 3 seconds. If you wait longer than 3 seconds, the limbic system wakes up, the fear kicks in, the negotiation begins. But if you move before the 3 seconds are up, you ambush your own brain. You act before the defense mechanisms can deploy. This is how you trick the hardware. You don't wait to feel like it. You will never feel like it. Feeling like it is for children. Amateurs wait for inspiration. Professionals move. Let's say you need to write. The thought hits you. 3, 2, 1. You stand up. You sit at the desk. You open the laptop. You are moving faster than your feelings. Motion creates emotion. We think we need to feel motivated to act, but the science shows the opposite is true. We need to act to feel motivated. Action generates the dopamine. When you use the 3-second kill switch, you are telling your brain, we do not negotiate with terrorists. And make no mistake, that voice of laziness, it is a terrorist. It is holding your potential hostage every time you override the hesitation. You are rewiring your neural pathways. You are strengthening the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain, and weakening the amygdala, the scared child. It will be uncomfortable at first. Your brain will scream. It will say, wait, we haven't checked email yet. Ignore it. Move. Now we go deeper. We move from behavior to philosophy. Why do you avoid hard things? Because they are painful, they are boring, they are stressful. But what if pain wasn't a signal to stop? What if pain was the signal that you are doing it right? The average person views stress as a sign that something is wrong. This is hard, so I shouldn't be doing it. The outlier views stress as a sign of growth. This is hard. Therefore, I must be doing it. This is pathological reframing. You must brainwash yourself to associate friction with pleasure. Think about the gym. When you lift a weight and your muscles burn, do you panic? Do you call an ambulance? Number, you celebrate. You chase the pump. You understand that the micro tears in the muscle fibers are the only way to build strength. You have successfully reframed physical pain as a positive signal. Now apply that to everything else. When you sit down to work and you feel that wall of resistance, that urge to check your phone, that mental fog, visualize that feeling as mental weightlifting. That friction is the rep. If it were easy, it wouldn't be changing you. The brain learns through association. If you start telling yourself, I love this grind, I love this difficulty, this is where the weakness leaves the body. You eventually trick the biological response. David Goggins calls this callousing the mind. Carl Jung called it integrating the shadow. You are taking the thing you fear and making it your home. When you find yourself doing something difficult, say this out loud, this is what separates me, because it is. Look around, look at the masses. They are soft. They are easily broken. They cannot sit still for 10 minutes. They cannot read a book without checking a notification. They crumble at the first sign of adversity. By simply enduring the friction, you are entering the top 1% of humanity. The pain is the gatekeeper. It keeps the pretenders out. If the path to greatness was easy, everyone would walk it. It is the difficulty that gives the prize its value. So when the pain hits, don't run, lean in, smile at it. Treat it like an old friend who has come to test your resolve. Is that all you got? This shift in perspective is the override. You stop looking for the easy way out and start looking for the steepest way up, because you know that the view is better from the summit, and the only way to the summit is through the struggle. Habits are powerful, but identity is supreme. You will never consistently do hard things if you view yourself as a lazy person trying to be productive. That is a conflict. Your identity will always win. If you believe you are lazy, you will sabotage your own success, just to prove yourself right, to trick your brain permanently. You must kill your old self. You need to adopt a new archetype. You are not a person trying to work. You are a machine. You are an operator. You are a builder. Stop using the language of the victim. I am trying. I am struggling. It is hard for me. Delete these phrases from your vocabulary. Replace them with the language of the sovereign. I require, I execute, I am. When you wake up, you don't ask yourself what you want to do. It doesn't matter what you want. It matters what is required. Does a soldier ask if he feels like going to war? Number, he has orders. Does an athlete ask if he feels like training? Number, he has a schedule. You must treat your life with the same level of professional detachment. You are the commander and the soldier. The commander sets the plan. The soldier executes it. The soldier is not allowed to have an opinion on the commander's orders. This detachment is liberating. It removes the emotional weight of decision making. You don't have to decide to work out. The decision was already made by the commander version of you last night. You just execute. This is the state of flow that elite performers talk about. It is the absence of self-consciousness. It is the absence of doubt. It is pure action. To anchor this identity, use totems, use uniforms. When you sit at your desk, wear a specific pair of headphones. When those headphones are on, you are the machine. You do not browse. You do not chat. You work. When you go to the gym, wear the same hoodie. That is your armor. Condition your brain to switch modes based on your environment. You are creating a Pavlovian response to your own life. You are training yourself like a dog. And I mean that with zero disrespect. The animal part of your brain is a dog. It needs commands, it needs structure. It needs to know who the master is. Be the master. We talked about starving the brain of cheap dopamine. Now, let's talk about the good stuff. The dopamine you get from scrolling TikTok is hollow. It fades in seconds and leaves you feeling empty and anxious. But the dopamine you get from finishing a difficult task, that is distinct. That is serotonin. That is pride. That is a deep, resonant satisfaction that settles in your bones. The override method isn't about living a joyless life. It is about trading cheap pleasure for deep satisfaction. You have to learn to crave the after. When you are staring at a cold shower or a blank page or a heavy barbell, don't focus on the act. Focus on how you will feel 10 minutes after it is done. Visualize the walk back to the car after a brutal workout. You feel light. You feel powerful. You feel like you conquered something. Visualize the closing of the laptop after 4 hours of deep work. You feel justified in your rest. That feeling is better than any drug. It is the feeling of competence. Your brain can be trained to chase that feeling. This is the payoff loop trigger. The hard thing appears. Override. 3-second kill switch. Action. Lean into the friction. Reward. The deep peace of completion. If you repeat this loop enough times, the brain starts to connect the hard thing with the deep peace. Eventually, you will start to feel anxious when you aren't doing hard things. You will feel off balance when you take a day off. People will call you obsessed. They will call you a workaholic. They won't understand. They will think you are punishing yourself. They don't realize that you are the only one who is actually having fun, because there is no fun in mediocrity. There is no joy in wasted potential. There is only a low-level hum of misery. True joy is the byproduct of effort. Which one do you want to be? The brain wants the left side because it is safe. The soul wants the right side because it is meaningful. The override method is simply the tool you use to let the soul win. Let's go to the darkest corner of this room. Why does this actually matter? Why not just live a comfortable, easy life? Why not just be average? Because you know deep down that you are capable of monsters. Jordan Peterson and Carl Jung talk about the necessity of danger. A harmless man is not a good man. A harmless man is just weak. A good man is a dangerous man who has his power under control. Doing hard things makes you dangerous. It gives you capacity. It gives you agency. When you override your brain, you are proving that you are not a slave to your impulses. If you cannot control what you eat, you are a slave. If you cannot control where your attention goes, you are a slave. If you cannot make yourself do what you say you will do, you are a slave. And slaves are not happy. The ultimate goal of the override method is sovereignty. It is about becoming the king of your own internal kingdom. There is a war going on inside you right now. It is a civil war between your higher self and your lower self. The lower self uses fatigue, distraction, and fear to keep you in line. It wants you to stay in the cave. The higher self wants you to ascend. It wants you to burn. Every time you choose the hard path, you are feeding the higher self. You are giving it weapons. You are giving it territory. And if you do this enough days in a row, the lower self begins to starve. It shrinks. It loses its voice. It never truly dies. The shadow is always there, but it is no longer the master. It becomes the servant. Imagine the version of you that exists 5 years from now. If you apply this method every single day, imagine the skills that person has, the physique, the bank account, the calmness, the authority. That person is waiting for you to stop negotiating. That person is screaming at you to count down. 3, 2, 1. You now have the code. You understand the biological betrayal. You know that comfort is a cage. You have the 3-second kill switch. You know how to reframe pain as power. But knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential. Power is execution. This video is about to end. And when it does, silence will rush back into the room. And in that silence, you will have a choice. Your brain will immediately try to serve you another video. It will try to keep you in the consumption loop. It will try to sedate you again. Do not let it. The moment this screen goes black, I want you to pick one thing, one hard thing that you have been avoiding, and I want you to attack it. Not tomorrow. Now use the agitation you feel right now. Use the anger. Use the hope. Override the system. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you are still here, you are not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what is hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. The techniques of elite manipulation, the shadow work that breaks you down to build you up, and the forbidden philosophy that rules the world. Most won't. That is the point.